it's Jen. I have a few card shares today, and what I'm going to try and do over the next couple of months is to challenge myself to make some cards that are different than what I typically make. And so what I'm doing is I have on my Pinterest, one of my boards is card ideas. So when I see cards I like, I throw them in there. And I really have quite a few in there. And so what I'm going to do is go in there and pick out some cards that I really like and try and make a couple of them each week. And I'm trying to pick out ones that are different than what I would typically make or give me something new to try. So this is a pocket card, and the card that I saw on Pinterest wasn't necessarily a pocket card, but it was a card that had this half fold on top with a spray of flowers. So that was my inspiration for this. I used a couple of clay buttons that I had made, and this is just some craft thread that secures that closed. My only recommendation on, and I'll show you the little pocket, was I decided to put the button on after I had made the pocket, which, you know, made that definitely more challenging. So if I were to do this again, I would sew that button on before I secured the pocket closed. And I just measured this out to coordinate with the card I made. I didn't use any specific measurements. I just pencil marked where I needed to score it and fold up the two edges. I did add a little bit of extra paper inside here to make it a little bit more sturdy and also to finish it off nicely. And then over here, these three little buttons are just little flowers I cut out from this piece of paper, which I love this piece of paper. I had bought this in a loose stack at Tuesday morning, and I don't have any of the information on it, but it's super pretty. It says Hope. So I had used some epoxy domes for the flowers, and they are pretty old, the ones I have, and maybe, I don't know if they may not have been the best quality because the little domes came off, but it left this really shiny, I don't know if you can tell, covering on these flowers, and I really liked it, so I just left those there. So that is the little pocket, and this is the card. And like I said, it has a half fold. This is some cream textured cardstock that I had used the Anna Griffin embossing folder. And then just put this little tiny sentiment tag so I can write either a thank you note or a happy birthday note. And on the front, I put together this cluster of flowers. I just used a 1-inch circle and kind of hot glued. Let me just do a close-up for you. Just hot glued this little spray of flowers on there. I have some sugar-coated flowers, some plain flowers, some paper flowers, a little skeleton leaf. These little leaves here, which I think these came from Elise, if I'm not mistaken. And then I used 3 different sizes of pearls and sewed on the little button. Yeah, so I am very happy with the way that this came out. And then that just slides back in there. And then the other cards I made, well, these are just 2 little cards that go together. Super simple. Oh, we're going to be dealing with glare because they're shaker cards. So let me see if I can again come up here. So this is kind of a funny story. My original intention was I saw this card and it had all of these popped up heart cutouts, and they weren't necessarily shaker, but I wanted to make them into shaker. So I was going to do 2 different sizes on a bigger card, and as I was working, I had the circle dies out and I had 2 heart dies, and the other one was smaller. It was going to be really teeny tiny little shakers, and I lost the die as I was sitting there to the smaller heart, and I looked for it on and off for like an hour and a half, and I finally gave up and then ended up making these 2 smaller cards. I went through the garbage and everything. I finally found it, and I knew that, you know, when you take a die off, it's got the double stick tape on it sometimes. I knew it was probably stuck to something, so when I went to go upstairs to go to bed, the die was stuck to the back of my iPhone. So I was just glad to have found it. So this is just, you know, a typical shaker, and I'm going to do a haul in a little bit, but I had picked up this new, like, really lightweight sequence from Michaels. It's the Recollections. I'll show it to you guys. And this is just Bristol paper, embossed the piece up on top, put my shaker on there, and put a little hello sentiment. So I will probably make some coordinating envelopes and package these up for a little gift for somebody. So, but I thought they came out really cute. And again, inspired by something that I saw on Pinterest. So that's going to kind of be my goal, is to, and another thing I'm going to challenge myself to is some of the cards I have in there are very simple cards. And I am going to try very hard that if it's a really simple card, I am going to try and make a really simple card. Because that's something I'm not as good at sometimes. I always want to heavily embellish. So, all right, you guys have a super great day. I will be right back with a haul. I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.